political talk here. And today we're going to be doing something a little different. And we're going to do a 2020 election prediction. But looking forward, not basing it off of what's currently happening and if the election was held today. That's what my regular predictions are based off of. But I'm going to do the prediction as what I think will happen, like will elapse from here all the way to November. So I'm just going to start filling our safe states. And while I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk about what I think are the biggest events that are going to happen from now in June all the way to November. So first thing I think is going to happen is that we're going to see the economy bounce back massively. We're going to see big gains in the stock markets. We're going to see big job gains, and I think that honestly is a thing that's going to help out Donald Trump. Now, we're also going to be seeing the heat of the police defunding and all that debate, which at the end of the day, we don't know who's that's going to benefit. If if the Republicans paint the Democrats as these people who want to eliminate all policing, there's a place that Donald Trump easily could get a bounce back. As for the Democrats, they could paint the Republicans as not wanting to do anything with the police, and then that's going to hurt them too. But look, a lot of you are thinking that Joe Biden has this election wrapped up as of now. And the reality is you can't say that because the elections are not wrapped up until maybe the last day of October. And realistically, that is true because, remember, for an election to critically change, you only need 2 weeks. Remember the Clinton tapes and all those things, and not the Trump tapes, the Clinton emails, where we had these big things happening, and then just out of nowhere, we saw a big flip, and Donald Trump ended up propelling himself to a victory. So, right now, I think that some states like Nevada and Colorado and Virginia and New Hampshire, they're not going to be switching parties. The police debate, probably not going to affect those states, but they might actually because of the suburbs. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a major thing. But when it comes to different issues, like the economy, maybe Donald Trump could have a bounce back in those states. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's possible in those states. If we see a big bounce back and the Republicans going through all these different changes, they could win states like Iowa, Ohio, Georgia, Texas by likely margins, by 5 points in most of these states. And I think that's going to happen for a couple of following reasons. First of all, the conservative base in these states are fired up because of all the different things that happened during the coronavirus, all these different things that happened to the economy, and all these different things that are happening with the police brutality debate. And, it's no debate that some police departments are very brutal, and they use brutality to take care of situations that shouldn't be that hard to take care of. But at the end of the day, it is a civil issue, and it's something that voters should be having on their mind. And these states, although there's currently everyone's fired up to vote, and there's going to be high turnout, we still don't know because we don't know how the election will transpire. For example, let's say that Joe Biden picks a VP, and that VP has a huge scandal come out. That's going to be a problem. Joe Biden has a huge scandal. That will be a problem. Donald Trump has another scandal. It's not going to be that much of a problem because he's kind of scandal prone. He has a big list of scandals. And honestly, if it's going to be someone who's going to be scandal ridden this election season, it's going to be Joe Biden and his campaign. And honestly, I think one more scandal doesn't affect Donald Trump because his name is pretty scandal. He has a bunch of scandals under his name. So voters already know him for scandals and things like that. So it's not going to affect him. But Joe Biden gets a couple scandals. Well, that might be the end to his campaign. Because then he's going to lose that little nickname that the voters have given him as Uncle Joe. So where are our lean states for the Democratic Party? I think by the time we get to Election Day, states like Arizona will be in the lean column for the Democratic Party, along with the state of Minnesota. And the state of Michigan. These states, honestly, right now are looking like they're going to go by bigger margins to the Democratic Party. But the issue here is that we don't know what's going to happen. Minnesota is very torn with the different, with the police brutality debate. And there's going to be a very big divide between the people who think that they should dismantle the police and opt for a new public safety system, and then for the people that think that they should just keep the police as it is. which honestly is going to be a very big fighting point between Democrats and Republicans. And I'm going to say that if that becomes a big part of the election, suburban voters will get mad with the individual governments in the states and honestly going to be bouncing back to Donald Trump. Michigan, it's looking pretty good for the Democrats, but I think they're not accounting for the different groups that are underpolled. There's a lot of my subscribers who take the polls as the word of the Bible, which certainly it is not, because polls could have a bunch of different areas. Like, they underpolled certain areas, they're only taken in certain areas as well, and maybe it's taken in all Democratic areas, maybe it's taken in all Republican areas. We really don't know, and that could be a problem, because if you're taking these polls and you're saying these are going to be exactly how the election is going to turn out, well, that is just a recipe for success and making the wrong prediction. Now, when we think of the future, I think that Republicans will hold back on to states like Florida by lean margins and states like North Carolina by lean margins. I think this will be the case because you see that in Florida, for example, there's going to be the new million voters on voter list with the felons and all these different things. But honestly, those who are saying that the felon voters, they would have a big impact on the election, maybe they're going to take 1 or 2%, which 1 point maybe, because again, the state of Florida is a very close state, so 1 point doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I think Republicans will be able to even it out with their gain of support in some of these Floridan areas. The Republican Party has crazy support in the state of Florida. Don't come and tell me that it's not trending Republican when they just re-elected a Republican. They got another Republican in, so that's 2 Republican governors in a row. You have a very popular senator in Bill Nelson who got taken off his Senate seat and they gave it to the former governor, a Republican, and all these different things that are happening. And we have a majority of a House of Representatives seats for the Republican Party. So at the end of the day, a state like Florida would easily go to Donald Trump when we start seeing the effects of the economy come back and the heat of the police brutality debate, because honestly, not the police brutality debate, I should reword that, more like the policing debate, which I think in the areas of suburbs, and there's huge suburbs in Miami, and there's huge suburbs in Orlando, there's huge suburbs in Tampa, and these areas honestly are going to be the ones that are probably going to carry the Republicans to victory in those states. I could say the same thing about North Carolina, and the increasing base in North Carolina for the Republican Party is also helping them. Which, at the end of the day, guys, remember a couple of things. These polls are expecting Joe Biden to win, but a lot of people think Democrats are those fiery candidates who run very good rallies. I mean, most Democrats are pretty boring. And I mean, the only candidate that I guess ran a very good campaign when it came to rallies and giving speeches was Bernie Sanders, who's not going to be the nominee. And at the end of the day, I think many voters are going to see Joe Biden as someone who sleeps a lot, I guess, when he's giving his speeches. And when it comes to debates, I don't want to see him go against Donald Trump, because that would be a very bad thing for Joe Biden. And I'm saying this from an unbiased point of view, that honestly, those presidential debates are going to be tough. And it's going to be a very interesting election. And these 2 districts right here, the Nebraska 2nd Congressional District and Maine 2nd Congressional District, I think those 2 districts could honestly go to Donald Trump by big margins. When we start seeing more of these comebacks with the economy, comebacks with the COVID-19 pandemic, and all these things. Look, you're right, guys. And I mean, I say this in my other predictions, that as of today, speaking about today, Joe Biden has landslide victory across the United States. Now, when we're looking into the future, like the events that will transpire in the next couple of weeks and months, we can honestly say that it's looking pretty good for Donald Trump to make a comeback and maybe narrow down the race. Probably not win still, but as it's looking, if he kept growing at the rate that he's going now, I think he's going up a little bit right now. And I think another bad thing, is that Donald Trump is treated a little bit unfairly. I've noticed this in the last couple of days. When the economy is rising, they don't say anything about it. They only talk about, for example, how he didn't allow the police to be dismantled. He didn't want that. And when the economy is falling, that's all they cover. So they're not covering the uprising of the American economy, which I think could be bad for Democrats in these areas. Now, when it comes to these two states, I think those two states are going to be the deciding factors. I personally think that at this point in time, a state like Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, it's going to be very close when we get back into the race. The Republican Party actually has a bigger base in Pennsylvania than many people think. Yes, Joe Biden is popular. Yes, all these different things. But the fact of the matter is that when you think about it, with bases, Democrats are a little bit ahead. With undecided voters, Republicans are going to take by storm. Why? Well, it's simply the fact that these areas have a lot of working class voters who are often underpolled and undersurveyed. And honestly, a lot of campaigns forget about them. And I think that's another mistake the Joe Biden campaign will make in certain areas. And I think, honestly, where does Joe Biden need to go campaign? Western side of the state of Pennsylvania. Will he do that? I don't think so. And we'll have to see. But I think at this point in time, by the time that we get to election day, where we're seeing a big economic revamp, and all these different things from the coronavirus pandemic and all these different things, Donald Trump is going to be at a strong point in his campaign. He might not be there right now, but in the future, we're talking about a whole different story. With the state of Michigan, though, I honestly think is going to be pretty interesting. And Wisconsin, my bad. The state of Wisconsin right now, it's looking like it's going to go to Joe Biden. But by the time we get there, it's probably going to be in the same boat as Pennsylvania. This is the most Republican state out of the Rust Belt. And yeah, Joe Biden has a nice chance. And if he picks someone like Gretchen Whitmer, maybe we're talking about a whole different scenario. But at the end of the day, we're not still there. We're not at the point where the election is wrapped up. So that this popular belief right now is that the election is wrapped up, Donald Trump doesn't have a chance. But here's a couple of things. Didn't we say that in 2016? And look who won the presidency. And honestly, you can't say never, because who would have thought that in 2017, Alabama was going to pick a Democratic senator? Who would have thought that in 2018? No, 2017. Who would have thought that all these different things happened? Who would have thought that Montana would have reelected the Republican? So these different things in politics, everything is possible until the last minute. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, the giveaway link is going to be down in the description down below. I made a video, go check it out. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you're not yet so. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and goodbye.